about one of the new couples on this season of Love After Lockup, and that is Christine and Julian. I feel like they're going to give us a lot to talk about this season. So let's get into it. Julian is 46 years old. He's a marketing project manager and an author. And Christine is 38 years old, and she's serving a 5.5-year sentence for armed bank robberies. Julian was never the popular guy in high school. He said he would go to the football games and be the dude with his journal writing because he always had a passion for writing. And he decided to write a book on a death row inmate. And he's like, you know what? I should probably talk to some prisoners myself to try to get some insight. And he ends up looking and finding a pen pal profile for Christine. So here's her profile. She says, I'm Christine, 38 years old. I'm doing a 5-year bid for some stupid stuff I will never do again. I have a great sense of humor. I love adventures, and I'm really into writing, mostly fiction, but based on real life experiences I've had. So I'm sure once she said she liked writing, that caught Julian's eye. And she says, I'm looking for a good friend to take into this journey with me, and if it's in the cards. I have much love to give. I'm looking for someone who can support me emotionally, sexually, and financially. Hope to hear from you soon. Julian decided to reach out to her, and he was just like, oh, I see you like writing, and he thought he was just gonna get some insight. But then she responded and said, yeah, I'm just making out with my roommate. And he wasn't feeling that. He said, I'm not trying to hear about you hooking up with other people. I'm actually just trying to talk to you. Christine is a whole character. She kind of reminds me of Clint's ex, Tracy, rest in peace, but a lot more crazier, she seems like. And she was locked up in prison because she decided to go rob a whole bunch of banks, and she robbed 6 banks in total over the span of 3 different states. And she was sentenced to 51 months in prison, and she pled guilty to 3 counts of unarmed bank robbery in April 2017, and she was also ordered to pay $7,889 in restitution, and she did not get that much from these bank robberies. One bank in Marion County, she only got $2,000. Then she robbed another bank a month later, and she only got $350. Then she robbed another bank in Athens County, Ohio for $2,150. She was 30 years old when she was charged with all these bank robberies. And that's pretty bold to just walk into that many different banks back to back like that and demanding all their 50s and 100s. She said she just Googled how to rob a bank, and that's exactly what she did. But she did get away for months before they finally caught up with her, and she went to jail, and she got out, and she was actually with Julian for about a week, but then she ended up going back. And she told Julian she went back because she was positive for marijuana in a drug test she did for her parole, which I'm not buying that at all. I'm sure it was something much harder that she was testing positive for, and she just didn't want to admit it. Then she went back to jail, and then we see her get out, and Julian picks her up, and she jumps on top of him. He's got her cat Chunky Bonkers, and I guess when she went to jail she didn't have anywhere to put all her belongings and cat, so thank God she had Julian to help take care of all that stuff. And Julian's got a really good relationship with her cat. He seems to really love him. But I don't know. It does seem like Christine is attracted to Julian. She could not stop kissing him, but it was too much. But it seemed like Julian was enjoying it. You know, it takes a special type of person to deal with someone kissing you every 5 seconds, and that's exactly what she was doing. She was kissing him and moaning and talking about how she can't wait to go to the bedroom because she needs some pushing in her cushion. Julian was being affectionate with her back, but he even seemed a little embarrassed with her behavior, with the way he was looking, because she's just very over the top and a character. Like, I feel like she's definitely going to give us quite a show this season. But I don't know. I could not help but look at her mouth the whole time. Her mouth was moving 1,000,000 miles a minute. Like, her mouth was moving faster than her words were coming out of her mouth, and it was like just moving from side to side. Like, did anybody else notice that? Because that's all I could focus on. It was so damn distracting, and it either looks like she's really on one and came out of prison geeked up and probably had a habit in prison, or maybe she's got dentures that are too big for her mouth that she's fighting to keep in, or maybe she's just did too many drugs and she's fried out, perma-fried, because I know that meth does a lot of damage to your brain, because people on meth usually stay up for days at a time, and that does a lot of irreversible brain damage. I mean, it's still early on, and I don't know, I can't say for sure or not, but it was definitely giving all the signs. She could not sit still. She was all over the place. She was very flustered, and her mouth, I mean, I used to be a drug user, and when I used to do uppers like that, especially meth, my jaw wouldn't get that bad, but sometimes I would get like that, and I've seen other people get like that, and that's what it was appearing like. And I'm scared for Julian, because he seems kind of naive, like he doesn't have much experience being around people who've used drugs before. So I don't think he is fully equipped with the tools and knowledge on what to do if she does relapse or go back. Because, I mean, last time they were hanging out and together while she was out of prison, she ended up going back. I mean, she claimed it was marijuana, but she went back to something that sent her back to prison. And so her being with him last time was enough for her to stop. So I really wonder if this time's gonna be enough. And he doesn't have a lot of dating experience, and I think he's just so wrapped up in the fact that, oh, this is the hottest girl I've ever been with. We've seen guys like this before on this show, and they ignore red flags left and right, and pretty big red flags. So I'm scared that he may do the same with her. Christine is definitely a wild card who's very unpredictable. You have no idea what she's going to say or do next, but I'm here for it. I think she's going to be very entertaining this season, and I actually think that her and Julian make sense together. Like, since Christine was just out here robbing banks left and right, I figured she was going to have one hell of a rap sheet that's longer than a CVS receipt, but that wasn't the case. When I looked up her criminal history, all she had was a registration violation and a no proof of insurance charge, and they were both dismissed. She probably ended up bringing the proof that she had insurance and for that other charge to court, and they ended up throwing the charges out. And then she had the bank robberies that we spoke on at the beginning of the video. But besides that, she doesn't have any other criminal history that I could find. So she literally went from just getting tickets for not having insurance and getting that thrown out to robbing banks. That's a pretty big jump right there. But that is it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about Christine and Julian in the comments below.